What was that?
Let's do this.
We bloody did it! What was right? Ha! Found you! Shit! Ah! Oblivion, take you!
You won't win this!
Die, damn you! I've had worse. Ugh.
You burn.
I swear to fuck! You really don't want to fuck with me! Ugh. You're fucking dead! Thumb scum.
God damn those fucking Thalmor bastards. There's something near.
Great! Is someone there? What was that? Is someone there? Enough!
A fight!
Shield her off! And 5 blades!
Hey, it feels like we've done this dance before. I shield you from the scratches and you heal up my scratches. Boy.
It's time to kick some ass!
Down.
Fuck me!
Shit happens.
It's reassuring to know I have someone so skilled in the art of healing. I'll be your shield. If you'll mend my scrap.
Northwatch Keep, Northwatch Interrogator's Journal. Loredas, that blasted gossip Monteva is talking behind my back again. She's always trying to undermine my leadership, calling me a third-rate conjurer who can only raise zombies. I'll teach her a lesson about that. I happen to have spent a few years with some necromancers and picked up a few tricks about the soul cannon. Just wait and see, Morteva. I'll make you eat your words. Just you wait. Morndas. I reached out into the soul cairn and a voice whispered back. This must be the ideal master as I've researched about. I asked the voice if we are able to bargain, and it replied yes. I offered to sacrifice our newly acquired housekeeper, and in exchange the voice promised me a great reward, priceless harvests from the soul cairn. The ideal masters must mean souls. For what else other than souls can they be harvesting in the soul cairn? After some back and forth, we settled on a final contract. I will deliver the housekeeper in exchange for 20 such harvests. I can't believe what a great deal I've struck. Turdas. I've delivered Layla to the portal as the promised sacrifice, but all I got in return was a bunch of spongy plant-like soul husks. What use do I have for these? Before I could object, the exchange was completed and the housekeeper was whisked away into the soul cairn. Have I been duped? I must keep this a secret from Morteva. If she finds out about this, I'll never hear the end of it.
Can you smell magic in the air too? It smells like a...
You there.
rainless
What are you
thunderstorm.
doing?
I'm here to rescue you.
I never thought I'd see another friendly face again. We need to get to safety as soon as possible. Let's move. I cannot thank you enough for rescuing me from this place. I suspect I'd never again see the light of day otherwise. But why would you risk your life for me, a stranger?
Your family was concerned for you.
Of course, I should have known. This was all Avelstein's idea, wasn't it? Where is he?
I told him to wait in Whiterun.
A wise decision, but I fear he may not be safe there anymore. They'll go looking for me, and Whiterun will be the first place they search. I cannot stay. Not here. Not in Whiterun. It likely won't be safe for Avelstein either. Our best hope now is to fall in with the ranks of the Stormcloaks. But would you do me a favor? Tell my mother to suffer the winter's cold wind, for it bears aloft next summer's seeds. She'll know what it means. I thank you again, friend. You've given me my life back.
Hold it. This here's a toll road, see? You're gonna have to hand over, say, 200 gold if you want to use our road.
How about you let me through and I don't kill you?
You know, now that I think of it, that sounds fair. Just shove off before the others notice.
Now ain't this a surprise?
Huh?
Someone there?
Where are you? Over here.
Enough!
Now ain't this a surprise?
You never learn. Have I told you how good it feels when you touch me? To heal me, that is. Shit. I'm glad the bastard's still at it. Should get this back to him quickly, eh? He'll rest a lot easier having his father's blade back.
Please tell me you have news of my son.
Thorald is safe.
Is he? You've saved him? Oh, I must see him at once.
I'm afraid he's not here. He didn't think it was safe to return.
What? After all this, I can't even see him? How do I know you're telling me the truth and not just what I want to hear?
He said to tell you to suffer the winter's cold wind.
For it bears aloft next summer's seeds. That's my boy. So it's true then. For now it's enough to know that he's alive. I can find peace in that. Thank you, dear friend. You've given me back my son. I'd had Eorland forge this for Thorald. It was to be a present for his return. I suppose he can't have it now. Why don't you take it? We can always make another for the day when this war ends and Thorald can come home. You take care of yourself now.
We should keep moving. Until next time.
That's my girl.
Looks like someone's been digging here, and recently. Tread. Lately. Be careful around the burial stones. I don't want to haul you back to your master on my back.
Oi!
Come on! You know!
Good as dead.
Give up!
Oi! Creep!
What a fight! All these dead bodies make for poor company.
Old Nord sacrifice place. Be careful around here. Let's look for a way to open the bars. Now look what you've gotten yourself into. No worries, just sit tight. I'll find the release. What was that?
It's time to die, dog.
We knew you'd be coming here.
Your mistake, companion.
Which one is that?
Doesn't matter. He wears that armor, he dies.
Killing you will make for an excellent story.
None of you will be alive to tell it.
Someone there? Thought I heard something.
Well, that's a bit fucking grim, isn't it?
I hope I didn't scare you.
What was that?
It's a blessing given to some of us. We can be like wild beasts. Fearsome.
You're going to make me a werewolf?
Oh no. Only the Circle have the beast blood. Prove your honor to be a companion. Eyes on the prey, not the horizon. We should keep moving. Still the Draugr to worry about.
I have no idea what that is.
I'm ending this right now!
I put you down.
Let's do this! Fall to my will!
No! You're making me angry.
Fuck! Let's see what you... No more?
Enough!
You listen. Do your work. You bastard!
You're dead!
This isn't over.
Please don't kill me!
I'll rip you in half.
Victory's yours, I submit!
Do your worst.
Fuck's sake!
You're a bit distracting in a fight.
I mean, I like watching you fight. I like watching you in that fight. Right, let's go.
What was that? What was that?
Is someone there?
You want to do this the hard way? Go to
That it! That's the best! No! You won't get away from me!
I can't. Not like this.
This is what you want, huh? What? Hey, that felt good.
Whoa, it bloody stinks in here.
Never should have come here.
Oi! Awesome! It's nothing!
Skyrim alive!
I'll get you! What? Hey! That felt good.
Just scratch.
Trying to end this.
I'm gonna crush you like a bug.
You don't like it? Well then, fuck off!
Time to finish this.
Well bloody done.
What was that? What was that? Oh! No one bests an orc. Over here. Good enough. Is someone there?
This should be good.
Come on! What was that? Fuck off.
I'll show you what a real orc.
Guess I was just hearing things.
Is someone there?
Shit!
God damn you!
I'll skin you!
I'll fix you good!
You're a fool!
I'm yours!
I'm gonna crush you like a bug!
Oh, hell no! You're not gonna like how this ends!
I submit! Do your worst!
Die, damn you!
Yes!
You're making me angry!
We rise victorious once again. The gods have forsaken. Taking this place.
I was just doing what I do best.
What? Hey, that felt good.
We need to take care of this. Good. Done that then.
Hell yeah!
I'll kill you! I'm gonna crush you like a bug!
How did they find us?
Yes!
And so it begins.
Damn you!
Yes!
I do what I do, and if you don't like it, I do what I do, and if you fuck right off. You fucking bastard.
Do you want some more?
Hey, that felt good.
Shit. I'll kill you. What happened before? When you looked at that word wall, it was like you fell into a trance.
You didn't see the light from the runes or hear anything?
No. All I knew about those word walls is that they're usually some sort of a memorial. Never heard about them being magic, but it's clearly had an effect on you. Are you feeling alright?
It felt like the light was reaching out to me and the stone was speaking.
Perhaps some magical way of communicating. It's the purpose of those memorials, to deliver messages after all. The court wizard might know more.
I'll speak with Farengar about it later.
Well, if Farengar's so interested in this dragonstone, maybe he'll know something about the wall.
I think I'll be fine. I just don't know how to explain what I saw.
Hey, there's no pressure to. I'd rather you take it easy than let some old magic scramble your brains.
Is that a smile I see on your face, Kaidan?
Aye, mayhap.
So what is it that has you looking so smiley today?
What can I say? Something caught my eye and now it brings a smile to my lips every time I see it.
You know, it really makes my day each time you give me a flower, Kaidan.
Well, does it really?
Does that surprise you?
Well, yes. I mean, it's nothing fancy. I like to see you smile and, well, I'm glad you like them. Does that mean you might like more?
Yes, if you want to give them to me, that is.
Well, I'll have to be sure and keep that in mind then.
We need to get back to your Vasker.
Who are the Silver Hand?
Bad people who don't like werewolves. So they don't like us either.
The companions are werewolves?
Not everyone, but all the Circle are. It's a secret to everybody. Until next time.
I need to be thinking up some more battle cries for these bastards. Rah! I can already yell I got a bone to pick with you so many times before it gets old.
Here we go!
Problem solved. Thank you. Can I be of service?
About surviving out here.
Aye? What about it?
I'm exhausted.
Maybe we should rest for the night.
Could you set up a campsite?
Sure thing. All right. Something I can do for you.
An archery target, that's new.
Given how good you've gotten with the bow, be good to keep those skills sharp, eh?
I like the idea of that. Maybe we should have a test of skills sometime?
Oh, anytime you like.
Any thoughts?
You wear that heavy armor like it's made of nothing. I'm impressed.
Kaidan, can I ask you something?
Of course.
Actually, I'd like to ask you something else.
All right.
Tell me about yourself.
I'm not sure what you want to hear.
Have you ever had a pet?
Pet? No. I always wanted a dog as a boy. Brynjar didn't think it was practical, having another mouth to feed.
Would you read from this book to me?
Aye, as you wish. Right, let's get going.
Crumpled note, 14 First Seed 201. Lirya, no, I might have been a bit rude with that merchant. I mean, fine. So I yelled at the arsehole, but I'm not sorry about it. Truth be told, I catch him eyeing you like that again, and I'll be giving him a lesson in manners he'll not soon be forgetting. Won't be just a clean pair of pants when I get through with him next time. He'll be needing a visit to the healer. That last part. Maybe that'd be one of those things best kept in my own head? Yeah. Yeah, pretty sure it is. Shit. Crumpled note, 14 First Seed 201. Lirya, noticed you shivering in your sleep the other night. If you get chilled like that again, let me know. I'll be more than happy to do something that'd warm you up. Shit, I mean, I could get you another fire or build up the fur. Wait. Fucking seriously? I can't even write a note after thinking about you without jumbling my words now? Shit. Next time it gets cold, I'll just get another fur out of the chest and build up the fire, for fuck's sake. Probably use this note as kindling for it. Broken Diamonds by Thorald Belethor. I remember as a young lad in Glenumbra Moors my first Broken Diamonds holiday. The big noisy festivals I remember very well. Harvest's End, Mid-Year, New Year, the Emperor's Day. All of these I have memories of that stretch back before I became truly aware of the meaning of our celebrating. On the 19th of Frostfall every year, my family and I would walk to a ruined castle in the middle of the wilderness, together with everyone else we knew in the moors. Hands clutched in hands, we would form an enormous circle around the ruins. Head reverently bowed, we would sing a song, the Sepharva. For years we did this, and I never asked why. It is an odd thing that normally curious children, from my experience, never ask questions about broken diamonds, and adults seldom volunteer information. Gradually, as we learn about our homeland through university or the prattling of ancient relatives, we come to guess and then know the meaning of broken diamonds. I cannot be objective as a native to Glenumbra moors, but visitors have told me that the sorrow, more often they use the word shame, of the natives is almost overwhelming. There's a sense that a great and ancient crime still burns in the conscience of the people of the moors. Though it did not happen in our lifetimes, we know that the debt is not yet paid. I refer, of course, to the murder of Her Terrible Majesty Kintyre II, Empress of Tamriel, on the frozen morning of the 23rd of Frostfall in the year 3E123. We do not know the name of the castle where she was held. We do not know the name of her murderer, though the man who ordered the murder was her cousin and usurper Uriel III. We do not know where she was buried, but our ancestors knew that their rightful ruler was imprisoned somewhere in their land and did nothing to help her. For that, we bear their shame. On that morning, when our great-great-grandparents heard of Kintyre's death, all were stricken with horror and regret at their lack of action. All the people of Glenpoint and Glenumbra Moor searched out those responsible in every imperial castle. They formed barriers with their bodies to hold the killer within. Flags bearing the red diamond of the Septim family were torn and scattered, and broken diamonds littered the snow. The song we sing every broken diamond, as I mentioned before, is the Sephav. I've asked everyone in Glenumbra Moor what the meaning of the song is, for it is in Old Bredic, and each generation only knows it because they were taught by their parents. No one knows the exact meaning of the words. Not even the tone and emotion of the words can be easily translated. When I later talked to a scholar who gave me an accurate translation of the Sephav, I began to understand both why our ancestors chose it as an anthem for the great injustice of the murder of Kintyre II, and the sorrow that still pervades Glenumbra moors since that dark morn. The Sephav. Souls of our fathers, suffer deeply, for you have led us to the dark time, when our own souls, filled with air, allowed ignorance and villainy to thrive in what used to be our land. Howl, ancestors, howl, and bring us memories of our conformance with evil. We do anything we can to survive, giving up our minds and hearts and bodies. We will not fight, and we will be torn and like flotsam on the whirling tide. We will be forever the agents of injustice, but we will mourn it forever. Crendal's Drunken Song. Attributed to Crendal the Breton, Strass Mackay Press. A is for the apes that date their mothers. B is for the boils they pop for fun. C is for the water sailors sail on. D is for the lumps upon their tongues. E is for the eels they ate for breakfast. F is for the fleas that swarm within their shorts. G is for the grog they swill by gallons. H is for the hair upon their warts. I is what they poke out with their fingers. J is for the jerks they give on ropes. K is for the cats they drown in bags. L is for the love they give to goats. M is for the marks of 50 lashes. N is for their smarts, for they have none. O is for the oceans they get lost in. P is for their pox and scurvy gums. Q is for the quake butts fit for pounding. R is wrong, and wrong they'll always be. S is stinky, just like sailors' armpits. T is for the ticks that eat their fleas. U is for the urgent needs of manhood. V is for the vegetables they won't eat. W for weevils and their hardtack. X's mark the spots on all their mapses. Why, oh why, we cry, must our song end? the zoanthropic girls of our hometowns.
Dragon Language, Myth No More, by Hella Thrice First, a lengthy thesis on the ancient language of the dragons. Dragon. The very word conjures nightmare images of shadowed skies, hideous roaring, and endless fire. Indeed, the dragons were terrifying beasts that were once as numerous as they were deadly. But what most Nords don't realize is that the dragons were in fact not simple, mindless beasts. Indeed, they were a thriving, intelligent culture, one bent on the elimination or enslavement of any non-dragon civilization in the entire world. It therefore stands to reason that the dragons would require a way to communicate with one another, that they would need to speak, and through much research, scholars have determined that this is exactly what the dragons did. For the mighty roars of the beasts, even when those roars contained fire, or ice, or some other deadly magic, were actually much more. They were words. Words in an ancient, though decipherable tongue. Nonsense, you say? Sheer folly on the part of some overeager academics? I thought precisely the same thing. But then I started hearing rumors. The odd snippet of a conversation from some brave explorer or gold-coveting crypt diver. And always it was the same word repeated. Wall. So I listened more. I began to arrange the pieces of the puzzle and slowly unravel the mystery. Spread throughout Skyrim, in ancient dungeons, burial grounds, and other secluded places, there are walls. Black, ominous walls, on which is written a script so old, so unknown, none who had encountered it could even begin its translation. In my heart, I came to know the truth. This was proof of the ancient dragon language. For what else could it possibly be? It only made sense that these walls were constructed by the ancient Nords, Nords who had lived in the time of the dragons, and out of fear or respect had somehow learned and used the language of the ancient beasts. But at that point, all I had was my own gut instinct. What I needed was proof. Thus began the adventure of my life, one spanning 17 months in the deaths of 3 courageous guides and 2 sellsword protectors. But I chose not to dwell on those grim details, for the end result was so glorious it made any hardship worth it. In my travels, I found many of the ancient walls, and every suspicion was proven true. It did, in fact, appear as if the ancient Nords had copied the language of the dragons of old, for the characters of that language very much resembled claw marks or scratches. One could almost envision a majestic dragon using his great, sharp talons to carve the symbols into the stone itself, and a human witness, possibly even a thrall or a servant, learning, observing, so that he too could use the language for his own ends. For as I observed the walls I found, I noticed something peculiar about some of the words. It was as if they pulsed with a kind of power, an unknown energy that, if unlocked, might be harnessed by the reader. That sounds like nonsense, I know, but if you had stood by these walls, seen their blackness, felt their power, you would understand that of which I speak. Thankfully, although entranced, I was able to retain enough sense to actually transcribe the characters I saw, and, in so doing, I began to see patterns in the language, patterns that allowed me to decipher what I was reading. For example, I transcribed the following passage. Assigning these scratchings to actual Tamrielic language characters, I further translated what I saw into this.
Het, Nok, Ingnavar, Gaf, Kodev, Bodre, Yamoran, Ofrod, Dokrosis, Nus Sinon, Sif Dinak, Ach Dukan,
which translates into the Tamrielic as follows. Here lies Ignavar Ghostbear, who did seek glory on the battlefield of sorrows, but instead found death and dishonor. Then, in another crypt, I encountered a wall with this transcription, which translates into
Het, Nok, Koprain, Do Iglif, Issos, Wogrind Ok Oblain, Niko, Morkai, Vukhain, Nus, Asthunax, Helvut, Duliv,
crazed, which ultimately translates into the Tamrielic as, "Here lies the body of Iglif Iceblood, who met his end not in glorious combat, but at the cruel touch of the withering sickness." And there you see the pattern, the repeated words, "here lies," which could only mean one thing. Those walls marked actual ancient Nord burial grounds. You can imagine my nearly uncontainable excitement. It all started to make sense. The ancient Nords used the dragon language for these walls for very specific reasons. One of them was obviously to mark the grave of some important figure. But what else? Were they all graves? Or did they serve other purposes as well? I set off to find out, and was well rewarded for my efforts. Here is what I discovered. This passage, which translates into Het ma torodis tafir scorgi lun senak wen klov gove nail renik hakun rock toget wa garot, which in Tamrielic translates into this: "Here fell the treacherous thief, Scorgy Leech Fingers, whose head was removed by the very axe he was attempting to steal." So here we see a wall that marks the spot where some significant ancient Nord died. This passage translates into this: Kethsegal Varukiv Danik Fahlil Kir Dogravun Frod Wo Bovul Kamer Nor Kinzon Zakri Do Kruzik Hokaran, which in Tamrielic translates into this: "This stone commemorates the doomed elf children of the autumn field who fled in terror from the sharp swords of the ancient enemy." This wall seems to commemorate some ancient, long-forgotten event in Tamrielic history. Whether that event occurred on or near the place where the wall was erected, we will probably never know. And finally, this passage, which translates into this: Esa Walain Kethsegal Brainahai Vakrut Thohild Fin Tur Wen Smolin Ag Thrin Ol Sakoheim, which in Tamrielic translates into this: Asa raised this stone for her sister, Thohild the Inferno, whose passion burned hot as the Red Forge. This wall, and I encountered quite a few like this, was obviously commissioned or built by a specific person to honor someone important to them. What was the significance of this location? Was it important to the person who died, or is it the actual location of that person's death? Again, those answers are probably lost to time and will never be known. And so you see, the ancient dragon language is indeed myth no more. It existed, but better yet, it still exists, and probably will until the end of time, thanks to the ancient Nords and their construction of these many word walls. But don't take my word for it, for the walls are there for the discovering in Skyrim's dangerous, secret places. They serve as a bridge between the realm of the ancient Nords and our own. The dragons may never return to our world, but now we can return to theirs. And someday, we may even unlock the strange, unknown power hidden in their words. Fall from Glory by Nithis Ladari. Theories on the weakening of the Skyrim Thieves Guild. The Thieves Guild of Skyrim is something of an enigma. Within the last few decades, their order has gone from one of the largest, most influential criminal organizations in all of Tamriel to a small group of stragglers, barely able to wreak havoc in their own home city of Riften. Although evidence that could explain this rapid decline has never surfaced, speculation has run rampant. One theory holds that the guild suffered a loss. It's strongly believed that their guildmaster was slain by one of their own. Now this guildmaster, known only as Gallus, maintained strong ties with many of the influential families in Skyrim. When he perished, those bonds perished with him. Without these bonds, the guild could no longer safely operate within Skyrim's holds. Now a second theory suggests that the guild is experiencing some kind of mystical coice, causing normal activities for its members to become exceedingly difficult. While there is no solid evidence to support this theory, the last 2 decades have seen an unusual rise in failed attempts by the guild to execute highly lucrative heists. Reasons for the presence of this supposed coif is being attributed to everything from the aforementioned murder to divine intervention. In order to solve this mystery once and for all, I've spent the last 2 years infiltrating the Thieves Guild. Initially making contact with them in Riften proved difficult, as they're quite wary of outsiders. But through repeated efforts, I was able to gain their confidence. It is my hope that once I have gained access to some of the guild leadership, I can learn more about their decline and publish a second volume of my work. Although helping the guild perform their petty crimes brands me as a criminal, I feel that it's a burden worth bearing. The mystery of the Thieves Guild's fall from power needs to be solved once and for all as a matter of record and as a footnote to Skyrim's history.
Tell me what you need.
The stars are so beautiful tonight, I could stare at them for hours.
I swear I could stare at you for hours.
What was that, Kaidan?
I said, yeah, me too.
Can you pack up the campsite?
Ugh, gonna need to re-stitch that seam when we come tonight. Won't be holding if we get bad weather.
I've been tending...
I was the newest companion until you came along. I guess that's okay. Just means I can show you the ropes.
Ah, you're back. I'll speak with Farkas about how you handled yourself. Come back later.
Sweet roll.
Aye, grumpy kid.
Vilkas, you as well?
Come on in. Just stoked the fire. Take a seat and get the cold out.
You know, you ain't so bad. Here, take this. You know, you ain't so bad. Here, take this. You lost. I don't really know anyone at the college. I guess everyone just assumes I do because I'm a Dunmer.
Here's Nelikar's staff.
This should come in handy. Here, let me show you a few tricks I've learned about buttering up royalty. All right, then.
Staying safe, I hope. Thanks. That cave could make good shelter, provided we clear out whatever's inside.
disaster of Vardenfell. You are the prophet that reveals our true future. We are children of the twilight, beings who are to be guided from the darkness into the light, and from the light into darkness. Azura has seen your coming, traveler. It was not curiosity, but fate that has led you here.
Seen my coming? What do you mean?
Azura has given me the gift of foresight. I had a vision of you walking up the steps to this altar, long before you were born. You have been chosen to be her champion. I know it is unexpected, but do not worry. It will all unfold as she has predicted.
Very well. What does Azura need?
You must go to a fortress, endangered by water, yet untouched by it. Inside, you will find an elven mage who can turn the brightest star as black as night. It is cryptic, I know, but Azura's signs are never wrong. I believe the fortress may refer to Winterhold. Ask if they know this elven enchanter.
I'd like to know more about Azura.
She is the goddess of dawn and dusk. Azura sees into the twilight of the future and guides her followers through it.
Where did this shrine come from?
My people, the Dunmer, built it. We fled from Morrowind after Vardenfell erupted, almost 200 years ago. Those of us who were faithful to Azura were given a vision that led us away from the island before the worst came. This shrine is our thanks to her, that none will forget that she watches over us all.
Are you all alone here?
Yes, there were others at first, but Azura's visions tested everyone's faith. One by one, they left, afraid to know their own future. But I refuse to abandon the shrine. The visions are a gift. Azura warns me of tragedy, war, death, before it happens. I won't leave her guidance. This has all been foreseen, and we must play our parts. Azura, who led her children away from the disaster of Vardenfell. You are the prophet that reveals our true future.
What can I do for you?
Aye.
Come on in. Just stoked the fire. Take a seat and get the cold out.
I don't deal with any college applicants these days, so don't bother asking. My days at the college are long behind me, but I prefer to stay close by.
I'm looking for an elven mage who studies stars.
Who sent you? Was it the college? The Jarl? We agreed there would be no more questions.
A priestess of Azura sent me.
Azura? Gods, it's all finally coming back to haunt me. What do you know about soul gems?
They're for enchanting, correct?
They are, except the gem is always consumed. They're frail, except for one. Azura's star, a Daedric artifact that allows any number of souls to pass through it. Some of us wanted to find out how. I was working under Malin Varen then. If only we knew what he was really planning.
What did Malin do?
Malin wanted to alter the star. He was dying, disease. He thought he could store his own soul inside, become immortal. It drove him mad. Students started dying. Eventually, the college exiled him. He took a few loyal disciples to Illinalta's Deep and vanished. Look, I don't care who asked you to find the star, but don't take it back to Azura. The Daedra are evil. They're the reason Malin went insane.
How does Azura's star work?
I mentioned how the star is a soul gem, only it never gets depleted. There's another rule the artifact follows. You can only store white souls in the star belonging to the lesser creatures. Azura's magic won't allow black souls to enter it. As a mortal, Malin's soul was black, so part of his work was breaking past Azura's rules. He was close before. Well, I already told you.
How did the Daedra drive Malin insane?
Azura is no ordinary Daedra. She commands an entire realm inside of Oblivion. The more Malin worked on the star, the more she was able to damn him. It started slowly at first. Malin would see things that weren't there. Then he would yell at students over words they hadn't said. Then one day I walked in and Malin had killed a student, and in a horrific moment of inspiration, he started using her soul for his work.
Sounds like Malin got what was coming to him.
The college would agree with you. But do you have any idea how many innocent lives were cut short just so Azura could have revenge? We're nothing to the Daedra. Pawns to move around, praise and punish as they see fit. All right then.
You see those warriors from Hammerfell? They've got curved swords. Curved swords.
I'd like to make an investment in your business.
You want to give me money, just like that? Fine, but I intend to earn that investment. I don't need handouts.
Let's see what you can do with this.
I'll work hard to justify your faith in me. Everything all right?
What's your business here in Winterhold?
Just passing through.
Stay clear of that college, if you know what's good for you. Nothing but foul deeds behind those walls.
You're the Jarl? I'm looking for work.
Winterhold has lost much of its history, and with that much of its power. I aim to change that. I've heard rumors of the resting place of the Helm of Winterhold. The very same helm that Jarl Hansa wore in the First Era. Hansa was in line to be High King of Skyrim, you know. Having that might get the ear of the other holds, and give me some authority.
I'll recover the helm.
Good. I'll have a sum of gold waiting for your return. Come back as soon as you have the helm.
imagine how this city was in its golden years. Now they can't even be bothered to clear away the rubble.
Thirsty for blood.
Get down!
You didn't have to do that.
I don't care how many colleges they build, or how much the sea swallows up. I'll outlast them all. You know, Winterhold used to be the seat of power in Skyrim. Now it's a shell.
I have the Helm of Winterhold.
Can you believe that this hold used to contend for the throne of the High King? Now perhaps others will listen. Here, your reward is promised. You have Winterhold's thanks.
Anything else you need, my Jarl?
There is room in my court for a new Thane. It's an honorary title, mainly, but there are a few perks someone like you could make use of. However, I could only grant the title to someone who is known throughout my hold. You help my people, and I'll make you my Thane.
It would be an honor.
Good luck to you.
I've helped your people.
Then by my right as Jarl, I name you Thane of Winterhold. I grant you this weapon from the armory to serve as your badge of office. I'll also notify the guards of your new title. Wouldn't want them to think you're part of the common rabble now. Until next time.
That wizard is still at the inn. I can't believe Dagger allows him to stay there.
This is what it's come to. No one seems to care what they've done to our home.
Clear.
You tried mercenary work? Sometimes I miss the soldier's life, but when I hold my daughter in my arms, I know I made the right choice.
I have your sword.
You found it! I've been looking for that blade for months! You took on all those bandits yourself? Thank you. Here, my father had a favorite sword and shield technique. Let me teach it to you, in honor of his memory. Right then.
Historian's notes on Cyrus's saber. Circa 2E 831, Cyrus the Redguard became a brigand, rebel, and revolutionary in Hammerfell during the rise of Tiber Septim's empire. He and his sister were responsible for the liberation of Stros Mackay Island during this time. Once his task was completed, he reportedly passed his blade down to the Nord captain Tobias, who kept the blade as a mantle of bravery and passed it down to his successors. Ages later, the blade nearly rotted away. Was a mere trinket to the captain of the Brine Hammer, a shadow of its prior glory. I've since learned that the Brine Hammer was due into Dawnstar several months back and never arrived. I fear that any possible clues about Cyrus's saber still existing, or not, are lost to the depths of the sea. Letter from Tyra Bloodfire. Lirya, my name is Tyra Bloodfire. Like Sotilda, the wet-ear before me, I am an orphan child of Balmora. Many years ago, I took a band of misfits and rogues and turned them into the Crimson Dirks. In our heyday, they called us thieves, bandits, apostates, and killers. And they were right. We were all of those things. But so is the Jarl who taxes the poor to starvation, soldiers who rape and pillage the towns, the Empire who would erase our gods, and the guardsmen who would behead the innocent. I know your story. There's going to be a judge for me. I don't want it to be them. Not the Empire, not the East Empire Company, and not the guards. Just you and the Divines. But first, I want you to prove you're a worthy judge. Go to the docks in Windhelm. There you'll meet a beggar in need of your aid. Some would offer him gold, others bread or wine. Offer him the alms you think will best serve him. Once you have proven your measure and your mercy, you must then show your mettle. I will wait for you at the Talos Shrine west of Windhelm. When at last we meet, I ask that you speak only with your blade, for while the tongue lies, the sword is true. Tyler. From Frog to Man, by Mika Stralbrecht. The life cycle of the Gromite is rather unique. They appear to be a deviant version of frogs and may even be distantly related to Argonians, although I have no direct evidence of that. Like the humble frog, Gromite is born from eggs found in or near water. The eggs hatch into tiny polywogs, no bigger than my hand. The polywog grows quickly, and inside of a few weeks grows limbs and changes into an amphibious ballywog. Ballywog will live for up to 2 years, growing to be larger than a man in both length and weight. Eventually, the adult ballywog will feel the urge to seek out deep water and bury itself in the mud. It hibernates there for many months, gestating into a Gromite. I've been unable to determine the exact time of gestation. The Gromite emerges from the mud fully grown. New Gromites never leave the water and are consumed with the urge to mate. Females leave the water to hang their eggs. They're hung over the water to keep them out of reach of aquatic predators, while still allowing the polywogs to fall into the water when they hatch. Once a female has laid her eggs, she turns her back on them. She will live her life more on land than in the water, although never far from it. The male's mating urge subsides after 6 months to a year. He too takes to the land, and like the female does nothing to protect his eggs. Adult Gremites have a sort of primitive culture. Crafton Highbrow maintains that they are cunning craftsmen that make jewelry and weapons, even mining ore. This is plainly ridiculous, although I have not determined the source of their tools and adornments. I'm certain they trade with other civilized races for such things. As for tales of magic-casting Gremites, that's even more ludicrous. While their primitive brains are surprisingly large, they clearly do not have the intelligence to learn the arcane crafts. I do not know how Crafton managed to train his pet Gromite to cast spells, but I assure all my readers that it is a trick of some sort. From Sedanine to Balmora, by Elona. From Sedanine, leave the village by the North Bridge and follow the road east, past the Siltstrider port. East of Sedanin, the road heads northeast through the ridge and intersects a northwest-southwest road. East of Sedanin, the road heads northeast through the ridge and intersects a northwest-southeast road. Turn left, northwest, and pass the village of Pelagiad on your right. The road continues north and swings northeast until it reaches a four-way intersection. The road to Balmora turns left, northwest, and descends into Foyata Maiea, a deep volcanic ravine. The road follows the ravine northeast for a short distance, then turns left and climbs out of the ravine to the northwest. North of the ravine, pass Fort Moonmoth on the right and come to an intersection with the signpost. Head due west toward Balmora. Two small bridges cross the Odai River. On the west side of the river, go north, passing a Siltstrider port and entering the walls of Balmora. Mind the signposts and be careful. In bad weather or darkness, it is easy to stray from the road.
Overproud and boastful, Oblivion's mad prince stood 1/5 day of mid-year among the frigid peaks of Skyrim and beckoned forth his scene for parley. The huntsman god materialized, for this was his day, and the boldness of Sheogorath intrigued him. Wry without equal, Sheogorath holds in his realm giggling loons, flamboyant augurs, and craven mutilators. The mad prince will ply profitless bargains and promote senseless bloodshed for nothing more than the joy of another's confusion, tragedy, or rage. So it was that Sheogorath had set a stage on which to play himself as rival to Hircine. Without haste, the coy prince proffered his contest. Each prince was to groom a beast to meet at this place again, 3 years to the hour, and do fatal battle. Expressionless behind his fearsome countenance, Hircine agreed, and with naught but a dusting of snow in the drift, the princes were gone to their realms. Confident, but knowing Sheogorath for a trickster, Hircine secretly bred an abomination in his hidden realm. An ancient Daedrith he summoned, and imbued it with the foul curse of lycanthropy. Of pitch heart and jagged fang, the unspeakable horror had no peer, even among the great hunters of Hircine's sphere. In the 3rd year, on the given day, Hircine returned where Sheogorath leaned, cross-legged on a stone, whistling with idle patience. The prince of the hunt struck his spear to the ground, bringing forth his unnatural, snarling behemoth. Doffing his cap, sly as ever, Sheogorath stood and stepped aside to reveal a tiny, colorful bird perched atop the stone. Demurely, it chirped in the bristling gusts, scarcely audible. In a twisted, springing heap, the Daedrith was upon the stone, leaving only rubble where the boulder had been. Thinking itself victorious, the monster's bloodied maw curled into a mock grin, when a subdued song drifted in the crisp air. The tiny bird lightly hopped along the snout of the furious Daedrith. Sheogorath looked on, quietly mirthful, as the diminutive creature picked at a bit of detritus caught in the scales betwixt the fiery eyes of the larger beast. With howling fury, the were-thing blinded itself, trying to pluck away the nuisance. And so it continued for hours. Hircine looked on in shame whilst his finest beast gradually destroyed itself in pursuit of the seemingly oblivious bird, all the while chirping a mournful tune to the lonesome range. Livid, but beaten, Hircine burned the ragged corpse and withdrew to his realm, swearing in forgotten tongues. His curses still hang in those peaks, and no wayfarer tarries for fear of his wrathful aspect in those obscured heights. Turning on his heel, Sheogorath beckoned the minuscule songbird to perch atop his shoulder, and strolled down the mountain, making for the warm breezes and vibrant sunsets of the Abyssean coast, whistling in tune with the tiniest champion in Tamriel.
Ancestors and the Dungeon, an outdated guide for foreign visitors tomorrow. Ghosts walk among them.
The departed spirits of the Dunmeri, and perhaps those of all races, persist after death. The knowledge and power of departed ancestors benefits the bloodlines of Dunmeri houses. The bond between the living family members and immortal ancestors is partly blood, partly ritual, partly volitional. A member brought into the house through marriage binds himself through ritual and oath into the clan, and gains communication and benefits from the clan's ancestors. However, his access to the ancestors is less than his offspring, and he retains some access to the ancestors of his own blood. The family shrine. Each residence has a family shrine. In poorer homes, it may be no more than a hearth or alcove where family relics are displayed and venerated. In wealthy homes, a room is set aside for the use of the ancestors. This shrine is called the Waiting Door and represents the door to oblivion. Here, the family members pay their respects to their ancestors through sacrifice and prayer, through oaths sworn upon duties, and through reports on the affairs of the family. In return, the family may receive information, training, and blessings from the family's ancestors. The ancestors are thus the protectors of the home, and especially the precincts of the Waiting Door. The Ghost Fence. It is a family's most solemn duty to make sure their ancestors' remains are interred properly in a city of the dead, such as Necrom. Here the spirits draw comfort from one another against the chill of the mortal world. However, as a sign of great honor and sacrifice, an ancestor may grant that part of his remains to be retained, to serve as a part of a ghost fence, protecting the clan's shrine and family precincts. Such an arrangement is often part of the family member's will, that a knucklebone shall be saved out of his remains and incorporated with solemn magic and ceremony into a clan ghost fence. In more exceptional cases, an entire skeleton or even a preserved corpse may be bound into a ghost fence. These remains become a beacon and focus for ancestral spirits, and for the spirit of the remains in particular. The more remains used to make a ghost fence, the more powerful the fence is, and the most powerful mortals in life have the most powerful remains. The Great Ghost Fence, created by the Tribunal to hold back the Blight, incorporates the bones of many heroes of the temple and of the houses Indoril and Renaran, who dedicated their spirits to the temple and clan as their surrogate families. The Ghost Fence also contains bones taken from the catacombs of Necrom and the many battlefields of Morrowind. The Mortal Chill. Spirits do not like to visit the mortal world, and they do so only out of duty and obligation. Spirits tell us that the other world is more pleasant, or at least more comfortable for spirits than our real world, which is cold, bitter, and full of pain and loss. Mad spirits. Spirits that are forced to remain in our world against their will may become mad spirits, or ghosts. Some spirits are bound to this world because of some terrible circumstance of their death, or because of some powerful emotional bond to a person, place, or thing. These are called hauntings. Some spirits are captured and bound to enchanted items by wizards. If the binding is involuntary, the spirit usually goes mad. A willing spirit may or may not retain its sanity, depending on the strength of the spirit and the wisdom of the enchanter. Some spirits are bound against their wills to protect family shrines. This unpleasant fate is reserved for those who have not served the family faithfully in life. Dutiful and honorable ancestral spirits often aid in the capture and binding of wayward spirits. These spirits usually go mad and make terrifying guardians. They are ritually prevented from harming mortals of their clans, but that does not necessarily discourage them from mischievous or peevish behavior. They are exceedingly dangerous for intruders. At the same time, if an intruder can penetrate the spirit's madness and play upon the spirit's resentment of his own clan, the angry spirits may be manipulated. Oblivion. The existence of Oblivion is acknowledged by all Tamriel cultures, but there is little agreement on the nature of that other world, other than it is the place where the Aedra and Daedra live, and that communication and travel are possible between this world and Oblivion through magic and ritual. The Dunmer do not emphasize the distinction between this world and Oblivion, as do the human cultures of Tamriel. They regard our world and the other world as a whole, with many paths from one end to the other, rather than two separate worlds of different natures with distinct borders. This philosophical viewpoint may account for the greater affinity of elves for magic and its practices. Foreign views of Dunmeri ancestor worship and spirit magic. The Altmeri and Bosmeri cultures also venerated their ancestors, but only by respecting the orderly and blissful passage of these spirits from this world to the next. That is, Wood Elves and High Elves believe it is cruel and unnatural to encourage the spirits of the dead to linger in our world. Even more grotesque and repugnant is the display of the bodily remains of ancestors in ghost fences and ash pits. The presentation of finger bones in a family shrine, for example, is sacrilegious to the Bosmer, who eat their dead, and barbaric to the Altmer, who inter their dead. The human cultures of Tamriel are ignorant, fearful of dark elves in their culture, considering them to be inhuman and evil, like orcs and Argonians, but more sophisticated. The human populations of Tamriel associate Dunmeri ancestor worship and spirit magic with necromancy. In fact, this association of the dark elves with necromancy is at least partly responsible for the dark reputation of Dunmer throughout Tamriel. This is generally an ignorant misconception, for necromancy outside the acceptable clan rituals is a most abhorrent abomination in the eyes of the Dunmer. The Dark Elves would never think of practicing sorcerous necromancy upon any Dark Elf, or upon the remains of any elf. However, Dark Elves consider the human and orcish races to be little more than animals. There is no injunction against necromancy upon such remains, or on the remains of any animal, bird, or insect. Imperial policy officially recognizes the practices of Dunmeri ancestor veneration and spirit magic as a religion, and protects their freedom to pursue such practices, so long as they do not threaten the security of the Empire. Privately, most Imperial officials and traders believe Dark Elf ancestor worship and displays of remains are barbaric, or even necromantic. Telvanni Necromancy. The Telvanni are adept masters of necromancy. They do not, however, practice necromancy upon the remains of Dark Elves. Sane Telvanni regard such practices with loathing and righteous anger. They do practice necromancy upon the remains of animals, and upon the remains of humans, orcs, and Argonians, who are technically no more than animals in moral. Publisher's note. This book was written by an unknown scholar as a guide for foreign visitors to Morrowind, shortly after the armistice was signed. Many of these practices have since fallen into disfavor. The most obvious changes are those regarding the practice of necromancy and the Great Ghost Fence. Dunmer today regard necromancy upon any of the accepted races as an abomination. The Ghost Fence has forced many changes in the practice of ancestor worship, with the vast majority of ancestors' remains going to strengthen the Great Ghost Fence around the mountain of Dagoth-Ur. There are very few clan ghost fences in Morrowind. The temple discourages such practices among the houses as selfish. The upkeep of family tombs and private waiting doors has also fallen into disfavor, as very few remains have been buried in these tombs and shrines since the armistice. In recent years, most Dunmer venerate a small portion of their ancestors' remains kept at a local temple.
Hey, I was just thinking about you. I was wondering if you needed anything.
Let's rest here.
I'll get myself comfortable then. You look really lovely tonight. Seeing you happy really made my day.
Tell me about yourself.
Ask away.
What is it about Hawker that you love so much, Kaidan?
Hawker is the fruit of the sea and land. You can put sauce on it, boil it, bake it, fry it. There's Hawker on a stick, spicy Hawker, Hawker loaf, Hawker stew, Hawker soup, Hawker salad, Hawker sandwiches, Hawker and potatoes, Hawker with apple and cabbages, Hawker with carrots and leeks, garlic Hawker, Hawker and asham stew, Hawker steak with mammoth and cheese on top, and I think that's about it.
Tell me about yourself.
Of course. What were you wondering?
What's your favourite time of day?
My favourite time of day? Oh, that's sunrise. Yeah. Well, a bit before sunrise, actually. There's a little window of time before the light rises over the horizon and everything comes to life. When the world is nice and quiet, peaceful. Sometimes, when I was camping, I'd wake up before the birds. Dawn would be nearing, but everything would be so still. It feels, oh, you know what I mean.
Tell me about yourself.
What's got you curious?
What's your favourite season?
My favourite season? Fall, I suppose. The autumn leaves. All that colour. Browns, golds, reds, it's beautiful.
Tell me about yourself.
As you wish.
What are your best skills?
I know how to move in heavy armor, and I can take a beating. Light armor? Not so much. I'll always prefer a skin of steel, not leather.
Tell me about yourself.
I'm not sure what you want to hear.
What did Brynjar look like?
Brynjar? Oh. Well, he was a Nord. Tall. Though I'd outgrown him by 13. He used to joke to me that all I was is arms and legs and knee brain. But he meant it kindly. I think. Maybe he was right.
I'm sure he was joking, though he'd be very impressed now.
I always wanted to grow up strong and hardy like him. I hope I made him proud.
Tell me about yourself.
What did you want to know?
Is there anything you want to tell me about yourself?
Oh, I don't know. Later on, perhaps. Do you need something?
Kaidan, can I ask you something?
That's all right.
Actually, I'd like to ask you something else.
No worries.
Come on, we've got things to do.
There's no rush, is there?